Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram peeps. How are you going? If you're drinking something, let me know what you're drinking, because this morning I'm drinking my green juice. I'm going to drink my green juice. And I got to say, when I drink this, it used to taste, if you've never had celery juice on an empty stomach, if you've ever smelt freshly cut grass, you know, the backyard or the front yard's been mowed, and that fresh smell of cut grass, that's what celery juice tastes like the very first time you drink it. Then it kind of grows on you, really. Like now I'm drinking it, not tasting like grass, not tasting like anything really, but I know that as I'm drinking it, it's going to make me feel good. So whatever you're drinking in the morning, they say that on an empty stomach, if you can drink celery juice, it cleans your liver. Even though you might not have anything wrong with your liver, the fact that you smell petrol fumes, the fact that you are, the fact that you might be having fats in your diet, or maybe little fats, or you might have a tease. This pretty much in the morning on an empty stomach cleans you up, cleans your liver, and that obviously helps with everything else, the function of everything else in your body. So that's my go-to drink. Other than that, it's lemon and hot water. Guys, I want to talk this morning about specifically some questions that have been raised, and there's two specific questions that I want to talk about, which you might find yourself being in. The first question is this that I got: is it normal that I don't have anything to be passionate about? Is it normal for me to have nothing to be passionate about? It's 100% normal. In fact, many people in the world don't know what they're passionate about. In fact, I had no idea what I was passionate about. Thank you for the love hearts, by the way. I appreciate that. I had no idea what I was passionate about. Actually, I did know it, but I just didn't know if that's the right thing. Should I pursue it? Which is why I created the passion process, because it was to help really just get myself into a zone of, well, what am I good at? Like, and what should I pursue, and how should I go about it? And so, is it normal that I don't have anything to be passionate about? 100%, no doubt about it. But if you want to sit in not knowing what you're good at, your strengths, that's a choice that you're making, because there are so many ways in which you can find your passion. And if you are okay with just being where you are, then that's absolutely fine. That's up to you, and that's your life and your journey. But if you're looking to find your passion, then you pretty much need to go out and find a way. Number one way I suggest is to try things, many things. If that's not going to help, or you don't have the time, then do the passion process. It will take you 30 to 30 minutes, really. It'll take you about 30 minutes to assess yourself and to assess your strengths, not by answering a bunch of multiple choice questions and having spitting back an answer at you, but really by going deep within yourself, finding introspection and having that happen. So that's at unboxyourgift.com. If you want to go to unboxyourgift.com, that will show you, it's a free training. You download it, you do it, you rock and roll, you find your passion. Rightio. Second question: is quitting my job right if I want to pursue my passion or what I feel like doing? Is quitting my job right if I want to pursue my passion or do what I feel like doing? It depends. It's situational. Whether you quit your job or not depends on, well, what are your responsibilities? Do you have debts to pay? Do you have kids? Do you have responsibilities out like within that? I mean, it depends. It's situational whether you should be quitting your job or whether you should be pursuing your passion to do that. And for every person, it's different. So it's not a blanket statement that can be given. What you would need to look at is what is your passion? What is your passion, and what is it going to take for you to realize that passion? Because just like you might say, I like riding, or I like bikes, or I like whatever your passion is. You have to look at, that's your passion, but what's the end goal of that passion? What do you want to do with that? Do you want to be a writer? Do you want to be a published author? Do you want to be able to review bikes? Do you want to go and travel the world on a bike? Like, what is your passion? What's the end goal? The passion is that thing, but what's the end goal? And so when you have that end goal in mind, now you have to reverse engineer. So what do I have to do to get to that end goal? That's the end goal. I'm now going to reverse engineer the steps to what I need to do to get there. Does that require me to quit my job? How much time does that require me? Hey, Johnson, how you going? How much time does it require for me to be able to get there? Like, what are the innuendos? What are the things that I need to do? Because you may not need to quit your job. That's the whole idea. You may not need to. You may want to quit your job, and that's a whole nother discussion. But really, in the pursuit of passion, guys, Pursuit of passion is really identifying what is that thing that lights your soul up. That's what passion is. That thing that gives you energy, that energizes you, that builds just like I gotta get out of bed. That thing, and it happens, guys. You might think, well, that's pretty stupid because it's never happened to me. It's just fake. It ain't fake. It's the reason why you think it's fake is because you've never experienced it. I can't tell you what ice cream tastes like if you've never tasted ice cream. How do you describe ice cream when you've never tasted it? You have to try it to get it. Same with passion. You have to try. You have to know that this thing lights me up to enable you to know that it's possible. So once you know that thing, what's the end goal with that thing, that passion? Reverse engineer what's it going to take, and then assess in that journey, do I need to quit my job? What do I need to do to support myself? If I do quit my job, what if the passion thing doesn't work out? Hey, Nazi. Hey, Dennis, how you going? What if that thing does not work out? And that's the crux of it all, because a lot of people do want to quit their jobs, but maybe you don't need to. Maybe you just don't need to quit your job. Let me put this aside. Because at the point of the matter is, your passion, let me repeat it for those people that are just joining on. Your passion is that thing that lights you up, whether it's drawing, whether it's calligraphy, whatever it may be. Then how you reverse engineer it, that's what's going to tell you to quit your job. Now, if you want to quit your job, be my guest. You can do that. But know that what are your responsibilities behind that? How would you possibly support yourself? Do you need to be supported? Can you move in with someone? Can you move in with your parents? You know what I mean? Can you go and do a share accommodation with a friend that like the situational? So it's not a blanket statement that I can make. And so for that question that the questioner has asked me is really, if I were to work with you, I would say to you, what is the thing that lights you up? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to travel the world? In fact, a lady that I interviewed on my podcast, she was incredible. She had a great job, high fly job, and then she went and took a gap year in her 40s. She took a gap year in her 40s. Like, talk about trying to unbox your gift. Like, that's unheard of. Someone would say to her, well, you're irresponsible. Well, you're blah, 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 blah. Now, obviously not everyone's in a position to take a gap year in their 40s, but what everyone is responsible for is their own happiness. And she said, in her response, she says, every time someone said to me, well, isn't it a bit irresponsible that you're in your 40s and you're taking time off? And she would say, well, you know what? Actually, it's irresponsible for me to do something and not find happiness in it, because I'm responsible for my happiness. It's not my husband's job. It's not my employer's job. It's not my parents' job. It's my job to find my own happiness. And for you, it might be being in a job that you don't like because, you want to look irresponsible. But for me, it's actually going to find what it is and being responsible for what I want to do, and not just by default. Can you see the difference there? Can you see what that difference approach can create? And that's really what it is. That's exactly what it is. That you and your passion, that you have something to nurture. In fact, I was listening to it, that when you work from your passion, you're closer to your center. And what does your center mean? Your center is that thing that you're connected to source, you're connected to God. The more you're in flow, the more you're out of flow, the more of a disconnect there is. And so my whole goal every single day is to find that flow for myself, to find that center as it is for you, so that that flow can be seamless. And as we find that flow, so passion isn't something that, it's nice to do. Passion is a necessity for your own mental health. Knowing what that is, your strength, is part of your mental health, so that you can center yourself, you can align with yourself, and you can connect at a deeper, greater level than just kind of by the seat of my pants doing whatever I can to just kind of get through the day, get through the year, and look like I've got it all sorted. But really, I know I'm not aligned, I'm not centered. And that's the biggest aha that I had this morning, was that I need to center myself, because when I center myself, and that comes from passion, then that's my greatest connection to God. Because when I'm not connected, then my connection to God wavers, because it just does, because I'm like frantic. I'm here, I'm there, I'm jumping everywhere. Doesn't mean that I'm not working, doesn't mean that I'm not busy, but it means if I'm not aligned with that thing that lights me up, then how can I get aligned to anything else around me? Because I have to feel alignment to garner that alignment. So That's my A to your Q, guys, who have asked those questions. And I hope that's helped you actually get through that. But one thing I want to add to that, guys, one thing I really want to add is that we're all looking, and me included, we're all looking for that extraordinary achievement. The extraordinary achievement could be whatever it is for you. It could be being a world-class writer, being a world-class athlete, being a world-class astronaut, whatever it is, physicist, physician, carpenter, electrician, teacher, whatever it is for you, we all have that big achievement in mind. And that's the extraordinary goal. And I think of it like the Olympics. The Olympics, you can't get to the Olympics if you're good. I mean, you've got to be pretty extraordinary anyway to get to the Olympics. And then when you're extraordinary and you get to the Olympics, now you're competing with people that are super duper extraordinary, and it's like a tenth of a second for the first place. You know, it's like tiny bits of differences that get first, second, and third place most of the time. And they're all extraordinary, but it's just in that moment, in that race, with those people, that one person, that second person, the third person excelled more than anyone else. The gold, the bronze, and the silver went to those three people. And here's what I understand when I use the Olympic Games as a metaphor. I use it in that that's the extraordinary goal. Getting on the platform and getting the gold, that's extraordinary. But everything that led up to that extraordinary moment was ordinary. Everything that led up to that extraordinary moment was ordinary. And so when I look at that metaphor, when I really focus on that metaphor of what it takes to get gold at an Olympic level, that extraordinary moment, hey Zainab, welcome. That extraordinary moment was only achieved by doing the ordinary, boring stuff. So this morning I wake up and I go for my, first thing in the morning I go for my run, and I've got kangaroos next door to me. Literally, I'm walking and the kangaroos are next to me. And I'm looking at that, and then I go through my morning routine, which is then I come home and then I put my intention for the day. I look at what I need to do, what's the things that I need to do. Then I do some learning, right? I do my morning routine. And what occurs to me is we're all after extraordinary. We all want that gold, whatever that gold is in our industry, in our heads. The gold could be that you are the greatest writer, you are the world-class teacher, you are the world-class electrician, you are the world-class XYZ, fill in the blank, whatever you want to be. But to get to world-class, or to even be the world-class mother, to be anything, or to be the most caring mother, or whatever word you want to describe it to be, when you want to get to an extraordinary level, and whatever extraordinary means for you, it's preceded by all the ordinary, boring crap that we need to do to get extraordinary. And what I mean by the ordinary stuff, it's like waking on time every morning. It's the ordinary stuff, the boring stuff is like doing the workout when I don't want to do the workout. The ordinary stuff is doing my learning in the morning when I don't want to do the learning in my morning, when I want to jump into an email. It's the discipline. The ordinary stuff is protecting my ears so that I don't hear bad, negative crap that's going to permeate into my brain, and it's going to go into my subconscious, and somehow it's going to infiltrate. And it's the boring, ordinary things every day. When you do it a month, when you do it 2 months, when you do it 3 years, when you do it 4 years, it becomes pretty boring and ordinary. But ordinary is what is the foundation of extraordinary. Because without ordinary, you can't get to extraordinary. And that's the irony, and that's why I believe we're all impatient. We're all impatient because we want it now. We want the success now. We want the adventure now. It's like it's got to happen now. But at the same token, a baby isn't birthed into the world without the struggle of contraction. The mother has to go through these contractions to be able to give birth. And it's the contraction, it's that struggle that gives birth to the baby. And it's that ordinary stuff that we don't want to do, we struggle to do, it being consistent, that gives birth to extraordinary. And that is the biggest concept, the biggest aha moment that I had. Because while I'm in this journey of just trying to make it, I've just got to make it through the day. I've got to get this goal done. And I do. I've got to get my things that I want to do done. It makes me feel like I'm accomplished. It makes me feel like I can go to the next step tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But in the journey of doing, in that journey, because I want to get, I want to get this extraordinary thing. I want to get this extraordinary thing. The greatest irony is that, well, I'm actually the ordinary is the journey, because in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world, actions are judged by intentions. Actions are judged by intentions. And so if I intend that my ordinary is the stepping stone to the final goal, to the extraordinary moment, if that's my intention, if that's what I'm doing, then whether or not, if I have enough life to live to get to that extraordinary moment or that extraordinary achievement, at least I'm fulfilling the intention, because the actions are judged by intentions. And if the intention is to do this act because it's going to help X, or it's going to help Y, it's going to allow this benefit, then that ordinary doesn't become so troublesome, so burdensome. Does that make sense? And that's how I've really been able to get my head around the ordinary stuff, because the ordinary stuff of waking up, because once upon a time in corporate, I had no routine. I thought the routines were get up, get dressed, and get to work, and work, come back, make dinner, eat dinner, go to sleep, maybe watch some TV. I thought, read a book maybe. I thought that was a routine. My eyes were completely opened when I started doing my own thing, because that's not a routine. If you want to start your own thing, you're going into a realm that is different to what you're used to. And therefore a different person has to enter the sphere now, a different person. And the way that I've really worked, and I've got to say, guys, this is something that I work on myself every single day. The one question that I ask myself every single day is, how can I improve today from yesterday? Like, what did I learn? Because I used to get frustrated with myself. I used to go, oh, I didn't get that done, and I didn't do this. And I'm just like, and I would get frustrated, and this didn't work out, and that crashed, and that, the website crashed, all that jazz. I'd get frustrated and I thought I was punishing myself, because punishing myself is a good thing, I used to think, because I'm going to teach myself a lesson. If I get frustrated with myself, I'm going to teach myself a lesson not to do it again. But what happened is, the more I got frustrated, the more I would pedal back, the more I would just get more frustrated, and I was not moving any forward. So what I've decided to do post-Hajj this year, what I've decided to do is just to get curious about my own behavior. Just to get curious about, okay, I stuffed up yesterday. I stuffed up. I get it. I didn't. Why did I stuff up? Like, what happened? Like, what was my mood in the morning? Did I do my morning routine? Like, what did I like? And I get curious, because when I replace curiosity with frustration, I get somewhere. I move forward. Even if it's an inch, I'm still moving forward. But frustration takes me back yards and yards and yards away from my goal. And I just get more like tangled and emotional. And I just go, you know what I mean? Like, and I just like, what's the point of that? There's no point of that, other than I'm used to punishing myself. And my punishment is getting frustrated, getting annoyed with myself. That how could I be so stupid? How could I be so dumb? Like, don't I know any better? And that conversation isn't helping me. And I understood that about myself only this year. And I'm talking post-August this year, when I really started to go, I got to change something fast. And I could read all the books in the world. I could listen to anything, but no one could actually tell me what I needed to prove on myself, because I'm the only one living with me inside my head. So I had to get very curious about why I do what I do. And so every morning, like this morning, I was thinking to myself, why is it that I don't get enough done in the day? Like, I have a whole, like, for example, today, I've got all these things that I want to do, like all these things that I want to do. And usually what I need to do is a lot longer than what there is like time in the day to do. And so for a long time, I would look at my list and go, and the list only gets longer, right? What I got to do gets longer. Whose doesn't? And I would look at my list and I would cross off what I've done. It makes me feel good when I cross it off, because it does something for my soul. It makes me feel accomplished. So I would cross it off. And then I would look at my list and go, oh, but I haven't done this and I haven't done that, and I didn't make that call and I didn't write that email, and I was supposed to make a meeting with that, and I didn't do that X, Y, Z. And now I came across this actually last night. I came across this, I'm just setting myself to get frustrated with my list of things to do. So how can I make myself win the day? Like, how can I get my work done and win my day? And I thought to myself, okay, My staple for every morning is that I get up and I do Facebooks and I do Instagram and I create content. I create content every morning. Before 11 a.m., I create all my content. Post 11 a.m., I get to do one thing I'm going to commit to. I do that and I am done. If I do more other stuff, then that's a win. But my goal, see how I'm trying to win the day, is my staple for every morning is that I do content before 11 a.m., which is this you and I interacting and a whole lot of other content that I create. And then after 11 a.m., my goal is to just do one other thing. Now I've won, because I can do one other thing. One other thing could be working on the project called the Empowered Gift, which is working for elderly Australians on how to reduce dementia. And that's a project that I'm working on. That's all I'm going to work on today. I'm going to work on the curriculum of how to get that finished. I'm going to just do that today. I finished that, I've won. I can do more stuff, but in my soul, in my commitment to myself, if I just do that, so I'm setting myself up to win. Can you see that what I'm doing? Because if I continue to, by the way, I've got so much on that I'm just pacing myself. Because I have to manage my mind, and that's all I'm trying to do is manage this thing that's driving everything. And if I let that drive me, I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to get emotional. I'm not going to get enough done. I'm going to feel worthless. I'm going to feel like looking at everyone else going, well, they got more done. How do I, right? If I take control and manage my mind by knowing that all these ordinary things that I'm doing is really the foundation to the extraordinary thing that I want to achieve, I've won. Then to know myself that I'm going to do my staple thing every morning before 11 a.m. and then one more thing. And if I can get something else done, I win. But if I don't, I still won because I did these two important things. And if I can do that, I am in my zone. And that's the same for you. But nobody can tell you what you should be doing. You have to build your own understanding and behavior. And the way I would suggest that you do that is get curious with yourself. Whether you're in corporate or you're working for yourself, get curious about your behavior. Don't get frustrated. Don't get emotional. Don't get annoying. Don't be a jerk to other people. Like, don't get pissed off with other people. Get curious about your own self. Because when you get curious, it's a different energy. It's a different, like, why is that happening? It's like if your child did something, you could get angry. Like, you could get angry and go, why did you do that? Or you could get curious. I wonder what led them to say that. You know, are they talking to a friend? Are they spending time on, like, you're getting curious so you can understand the source of what led to that happening. And it's the same with yourself. Be kind to yourself in the purpose of get curious. And that will open the doors for you of knowing, getting more insight. Sight is seeing with the eye. Insight is seeing with the heart. That will create insight for you to know what triggers you and how to manage that trigger. And that's all I'm doing with myself. My trigger is I look at my list and I think, oh, I didn't get this done and that done and that done. That's a trigger. And I didn't cross that off and I didn't cross that off. Now I'm going to reverse engineer that and say, I need to own this. I need to find a way to own this. And the way that I'm experimenting to own this is my staple, my morning routine, my staple before 11 a.m. and then one more thing, and I'm good. I'm good. I'm not going to tolerate being frustrated anymore because that's weakness, because that's my way out. And I'm not going to tolerate weakness when there is an opportunity that God has given me, and I'm going to squeeze everything out of me to find my best self, my best potential, to tap into my greatest potential and deliver that. Yes, Zainab, owning. That's exactly what it is. So if you found this, I went on to something that I didn't even plan on speaking about, guys, because I had Q&As this morning and I wanted to answer those Q&As, which I did in the beginning of this video. And by the way, guys, if ever you're looking for these live videos, they're on Facebook and they're live on Instagram and also on Instagram TV. So they'll be there. But when you're out loud, what I find is when people join me live, they get to answer their questions, ask their questions live, which is the benefit. As things are coming up for you, you can ask your questions so that I can answer them in real time. So I'm going to wrap that up because we're now into 24 minutes and I've got to get to my first appointment. But I want to say to you, whatever you are doing in your world, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're in your passion, whether you're not in your passion. The questioner today who said Should I quit my job and pursue my passion? Whether you're working for someone else or on the journey of pursuing your passion or in the passion itself, know that, please know this, that the ordinary things that you're doing that are just like when is my turn going to come? The ordinary things that seem ordinary, they're the actual extraordinary little bite-sized pieces that get you to the ultimate extraordinary place of achievement. Discipline is ordinary, but it's extraordinary to get you propping up further, faster forward. And that's what I want to leave you with, that nothing that you do is ordinary. Nothing that you do is ordinary. When you cook for your family, when you look after your health, when you take time to exercise, when you take time for your parents, when you take time to make a phone call to a friend, when you take time for yourself and read, when you take time for a massage, these are not things that are just luxurious things. These are necessities for your soul. We just feel like they're not going to add to the extraordinary moment, when in fact, these are what prop us up to that moment that we know is going to put us higher in our own mind, in our own soul, in our own belief system, so that we get to where we want a lot faster. So wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, thank you so much for joining me. And I shall catch you on Monday morning, 9 a.m. for Behind the Scenes. Have a beautiful day. And my advice to myself and to you is that life is a gift. Let's unbox it. Whoops. Let's end this live video.